I researched the Cold War for the past weeks. This was a project that I really have never come encounter with before. My teacher gave us the option to research one of many wars. I was going to pick the topic on the Twin Towers because I thought, oh, I've heard about this my whole life. It'd be easier to understand and easier just to finish a project with a good grade. But I was always really thinking about it and how it would be my last major project. I wanted to learn about something that doesn't really get talked about in a classroom. Due to the fact that I never really heard any facts about the Cold War, I thought it'd be a good fit. So, coming into this project, I had no basic understanding of the war, or why it was caused, or who it was between. That made me sort of nervous. I asked my teacher for some basic information about this war. He told me it has to do with nuclear warfare and some spying. That got me hooked right away. I was familiar with the concept of nuke from the game Modern Warfare 2. Although I now know that nuclear warfare is not something to joke about. It can and has killed a huge amount of people. For example, when the USA nuked Hiroshima and Nagasaki, millions died from the destruction the nuke brought. Also, the espionage has always been a like of mine. I think it has been because I like the concept of being hidden from the enemy. The espionage in this war really caused tension because if the USA found out about something the USSR did secretly, it would have just caused hatred because they felt like things are going on that they should know about, but intentionally wasn't told. For example, in the Cuban Missile Strike, the USSR and the Cuba came together and built missile bases with the ability to strike the US states. The USA found out by photographs and it caused tension which made the two sides hate each other even more. That is really never good in a war situation. Saying that, I can definitely say I was late on starting this project. When others were already researching and forming a good idea on the topic, I was still trying to gain a basic understanding of the Cold War. One big reason I fell behind is because the website I searched had words that I didn't understand. The information was difficult for me, so I had to search for others. I finally found one where it explained the beginning of the war in nice detail. What caused the war, the end of the war. The website really gave me a good understanding of the Cold War and helped me launch my project. Then writing my rough draft. This was also difficult. I needed to have a rough draft by a certain date and I procrastinated, waiting until 2 days before the due date. I wrote down about 500 words worth of stuff that I had learned from websites and I thought it would be enough for my project. Later that night when I was talking to some of my friends, they said the rough drafts were around 1,000, 1,500 words. This made me very nervous but determined. I had to start getting serious in work. Writing more about the topic, I noticed I started to just to copy other websites' words. The reason this happened was because I had not learned enough about the Cold War to write about it yet, so I fell behind yet again because I had to research some more. I learned very good detail from Wikipedia.com and other sites. Later, the rough draft began to get longer and I could finally notice my voice in it. Then came the actual building of the website. Talk about overwhelming. There was things on there I have never come in contact with before. Deciding to watch the video tutorial posted from my teacher, it gave me a better idea what to do. I decided to make multiple pages organized by post-war, tension of the war, end of the war. This works very well because when a reader comes to a website and sees nothing but words going down on a page, it won't be interesting. Even from my experience, when I saw a website with no catchy title and a long list of words, I exited out and searched for one with pictures and less words for a better understanding. This experience helped me with my website because I remembered to put some pictures in and add pages so it isn't a website of just words. That was the good parts of the website. The bad parts were mostly about the site that helps create our websites. It was very difficult to use this for many reasons. First, it was confusing to find the things that I needed to add, like colors. I searched and searched for how to change my background colors. Then, putting the words into my pages was pretty easy, except for the parts when I had to organize. Putting pictures into the site was a difficult time for me because it would sometimes go over the words or the words would format differently because of the picture. It made it unorganized. Also, when I tried to revise my writing, it would change the style of the writing and the font. One section would be 8 font and the other section would be 13 font. This put a lot of stress on me because I like to have things even and neat, but the site didn't allow me to make it like that very easily. I copy and pasted the work to my Google Docs account and transferred it back multiple times to make it the same font. I ended up talking to my teacher about the problems, and he said I wasn't the only one. That relieved me. Another fault, when I tried to center my titles inside the page, it wouldn't center. The heading would go 3/4 to the side instead of to the center. Mostly, I had trouble with my organizing my website. There's actually one page where there are blank lines because it won't save changes at all. I believe I did very well on this project. I have never had to do a project where I am all alone making a whole website. I was given a month or two to do this project. I think it would have been a lot easier to do with a partner, but then again, this was a big independent project. I usually ask a lot of questions to the teacher to make sure I'm on the right track with my work. Questions like, does this make sense? Things that I can do myself, but I was never confident enough to do. This project helped me be more of an independent person when I asked for help. When I asked for help, the answer generally was, "What do you think?" That answer really made me think about what I can improve. I am now more confident with my work. I don't think I went in depth enough in this project. I have facts, but they are very general, things about the war. For example, I had stuff like who it was fought by and the reason they fought and that kind of stuff. If I were to do this project again, I would make sure I got to the sites that went in depth in the war. I also procrastinated a lot in this project until I finally realized how much it will affect my grade. I then started to work every day on this project. So, if I were to do another project like this one again, I would make sure I had a calendar on what I need to accomplish and by what date I need to be finished. This strategy would take a lot of stress away from me because I wouldn't have to worry about finishing on the last second, which would make my work better. Although, if I had a choice to do a project all on my own like this one again, or one with a partner with the help from teachers, I would pick the interactive one. That one is the one with a partner and the teachers. This experience showed me how I learn better in a group, but also helped me build confidence. I actually started to enjoy doing this project. A couple weeks into this research, I would come home from school and I have to start this project for the day, but I didn't want to. But for once I did start and I couldn't stop. I kept wanting to learn more and more. Don't get me wrong, I'm relieved that it's over and all my learning has come down on my website, but I wish I could have went more in depth with the war, find more information. It was such an interesting topic to learn about. I never heard about a war where nukes were so close to being shot. Also, I never learned about a war with no actual crossfire. This overall project has had a positive impact for me.